Can we just start this episode by like explaining our outfits?
Yeah, I'm weather confused. Like, it's warm now, but I didn't go outside for like 3 days because I was so busy on everything but the dress. So then when I went out, I was like, so this is a new wardrobe.
Yeah. Oh, it's spring, baby.
I got really confused and I just immediately put on like the white off the shoulder. Like,
it's like the fall transitional time. It's that time of year where like nobody's really knowing what to wear because you're either sweating or you're freezing.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Like, you have thick fabric on, but a mini skirt.
I look like I'm going to a presidential debate right now.
I look like this is the first real outfit I've put on in days.
No, you look cute. You look city cute. You look more appropriate for like the day. I truly look like I have something like huge. And yes, we do have an event after this, but I don't. I look like I have like I'm not dressed appropriately. Like I'm almost a little like overdressed. Okay.
It's like literally so hot in here. Am I like having?
No, you said that when we walked in.
You're
and it was,
not
like,
hot.
Freezing. So my outfit, for those of you watching on YouTube, if you're not, bear with us. It's like a wool pink tweed. Sure, that you're right. It's tweed, and it's so like not really me.
I really like it. It's like
I feel like it's very you. Oh, and then as I was putting on my brown tights and brown coat, I was like, didn't care.
Because I'm.
I was like, I'm just like Caroline's colors.
I'm infiltrating your brain.
You're kind of my colors.
I thought it when I put this on too. I was like, Nikki would wear this outfit. So my outfit, fun fact, I've had these pants. Like, these are my corporate pants.
I was looking at the pants and I was like, did I give you those pants? Because I had the same ones.
So these pants I bought in 2018 for work. And this is just a love letter to all of the hoarders out there. Mm-hmm. When you give stuff away, you don't give away old stuff. You give away stuff that doesn't fit you or like you wouldn't wear. So like I have something on right now that's 7 years old. I don't know if it's in style still, but I still feel like it's flattering. Albeit not sitting. We'll remember that for next time.
I had a pair that had that exact same pattern, and they ended up ripping. They were a vintage Ralph Lauren pair that one of my old coworkers got on eBay and was like, they don't fit me right. Do you want them? And I was like, yes, queen, yes. And I wore them all the time, all day, every day. And until they eventually, like, the butt ripped. And I just never, why didn't
you just get them?
I don't know.
Because I think that there was an age where we were like, thought that getting things altered was something you only did for like nice gowns or not. And like, I didn't really realize until I moved to New York, and I've always been a fan of altering, that like people really get their stuff like shoes repaired. Yeah. I just sort of thought that was like a mom thing. Yeah. Like my mom would take stuff.
No, you're making me want to. So you always bring me back down to earth in terms of like telling me to hang on to stuff. This is so random of a side note, but have you ever heard of or seen Kylie Perkins?
No.
She came across my desk this past week, and she is this TikToker. She's this suburban mom of, I don't really know how many kids. All I know is I did a quick scroll on her content and quickly was enthralled. I texted all my suburban mother friends, and I was like, you need to follow her. She basically like screams at you to, like, you as the viewer, to be a minimalist and get rid of things in your home and just like clean out and clear out and organize. Yeah. And she's so regimented. Like, she's basically the Navy SEAL of suburban moms. And she just talks about how it really truly like transformed her life, getting rid of things and getting organized. And if she has, like, for instance, she'll have a meeting and then she'll have a quick 30-minute break, and she'll film a video of herself during the break, and she'll be like, all right, so I have 30 minutes. I have to eat, I have to fold laundry, and I have to wash the curtains. And I'm doing all of that in 30 minutes. We stay in motion. And it's the way she
I agree with that.
Talks.
I just was like, when I envision someone yelling at me and it's like regimented, I'm like, I was truly going to ask, how do you enjoy that content? Because we are both people that our anxiety,
don't like being yelled at.
We will barf when somebody starts doing that. Like, we start hyperventilating. So what you're saying, I understand.
You would think I wouldn't like it, or you need to check her out, because it was truly motivating the fuck out of me.
Well, because she's in it sounds like, you know, when you have too many things to do in a day and not enough time, but yes. For example, people are coming over. So not cleaning the house is
not an option.
Mm-hmm. It's survival mode. So
yeah. You would like it. Just like
I'm going to go
you've
look
got
her
to
up.
see it to
Kylie
believe
Perkins.
it. Yeah.
Her name sounds familiar.
She grew really fast. She hit like 1 million on TikTok as of recently. And then I was doing a scroll and she wasn't even near 1 million recently. I think she's the next big thing.
That's cute.
Yeah.
You're a number stalker.
I'm a number stalker.
There's one thing about you. You're going to
know. I know everyone's numbers and I know when you're climbing and I got tabs on it because I'm jealous if you are. And I know when you're not.
Yeah.
And I'm a number stalker. And I'm not good with numbers. So I don't know why I am a number stalker.
It's a different type of number,
it comes out of insecurity. Speaking of coming out of insecurity, today we're talking about sister-in-laws.
Yeah. Also, speaking of insecurity, I've got to tell you guys this because I just need to get it off my chest. I have a very interesting PMS symptom, and I don't know if other people have it. I get like crazy paranoid.
Anxiety?
Paranoia. Kinda? Like, I will wake up. Like, if I were to wake up one day and like think, okay, it applies to anybody. Like, I could wake up and just think that you were mad at me. Any interaction I have with a friend during that time, I'm like, they're mad at me, da-da-da-da. Like, I get really paranoid. Even with John, it's like, I'll be like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, I'm convinced something's wrong. And if there's ever a time for me to be like, do you have a work wife? Like, it will be this time.
Yeah.
And I have been like this forever to the point where when John and I started dating, I told him, I said, FYI, when I'm PMSing 10 years ago, I get really paranoid. Just blow past it.
Yeah. That's interesting that you're able to pinpoint it to be when you're PMSing because there have been times where you've asked me if I'm mad at you and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm completely fine.
I'm lucky enough to skip some of the other PMS symptoms, but like, I don't know if that's one other people have. If it's just my anxiety manifesting in that way.
That's what I was going to say. That makes sense because anxiety is just heightened in general with hormonal changes. So PMSing. Yeah. And that I think is your anxiety being executed.
Like it just comes, I know it's PMS because it comes full force and it's just has no bounds. Like it'll be with everybody, my mom, my sisters, my friends, John, like every single person, like, and it will be for like, it will shock me. And
it's weird because there's not much you can like do about that because like, it's not like you're not well, maybe it is. My latest thing, maybe you have this too a little bit. I think we all do as women. But my latest thing is never feeling enough in every area.
Yeah. Remember that was your dream? Yeah.
The dream analyst. We met a dream analyst.
I think maybe that's what it is that I'm feeling.
So maybe it's.
And it causes it.
Yeah. Maybe it's kind of like you not feeling enough. So when your anxiety is heightened, you're like, why is everybody mad at me?
Like, for example, I've been very busy lately, and John is in CCAR, which is a busy time. And even though he doesn't work on the same team that he worked on when he like first got out of school, he's always been on a team that does CCAR. And CCAR in February and March is like, that's when he used to have to work weekends and like now he doesn't, but you're there late. You know what I mean? Everybody's there, whatever. They have all these meetings. So I've been working really late. John's been working really late. This has been going on and when I say really late, like 8 p.m. For like the past 2-3 weeks. And yesterday I woke up or yesterday evening, I'm like, John, why are you staying in the office late? I'm like, really sketchy that you're in the office late, right? Like, what are you doing? It's like it just overcomes me.
Yeah. Well, here's also,
but it won't like.
There's people, I think when you do have like a really level-headed partner who's consistent in their emotions, the slight moments when they aren't consistent, it almost like throws you for a deeper loop. Like that's like Mike and John are very consistent. Yeah, they're reliable. They're loyal.
But this is something that he's always, it's not a change in consistency. It's like what has been normal is now all of a sudden making my heart beat faster. And I used to think it was like an intuition thing. And then now I'm like, it's such an odd insecurity that I have that gets peaked during my PMSing phase. Like that's maybe the way my anxiety manifests because I do it with my parents and I do it with my friends and I do it with my sisters.
It's weird because I would normally tell you like, you have too much time on your hands. Because like I was listening to a podcast recently and it was basically like if you want to change your positive thinking and think better about yourself and like minimize anxiety, then basically like find a project and like put yourself towards it. So normally I'd be like, okay, you need to do something with your brain and time. But I feel like what you're describing, how you're feeling is during a time when you are very busy. You have a project.
I have no space left in my brain. So that's what really got me thinking about it yesterday, because I guess I actually was annoyed that it was happening because I had no brain power left to think about it. So I was like, what the fuck? And then whatever, John and I'm talking to him about it. And I just was thinking to myself that I'm like, it's like that I'm scared the other shoe is going to drop. Like everything is like too even keel and like too good. And then that's where it really starts to spiral, because I was like, I need to go back to therapy, because that's feeling a lot like all of your parents are divorced and everything has always been really like explosive and heightened. So like you're convinced that your scenario, like there is a shoe waiting to drop. And so you just like, I'm always like, there's got to be something, right?
Yeah. I will never forget. I was on the phone with my boss when I was my like mentor at this point, who we got really close. I was like 23, fresh out of college. And I remember just saying like, I could not imagine if a parent ever died. Like that would never happen to me though. Like somebody in my family would never die. And then it literally happened. The shoe quite literally fell. The shoe plummeted. The other shoe.
That's why,
and so now it's like, I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop.
I'm like, I think that if I could just get rid of that, I'll finally break out of the paranoia cycle. But at this point, it's been 10 years. I'm kind of over it. Like it's annoying, but it is once you've experienced the other shoe dropping.
Yeah. Once you've been through shit, the shoe, you're expecting it to drop.
What really adds up is I'll be like, John, like, don't you think like, this is going too well. Like, this is too right. Like, the shoe's going to drop. And then I remembered that his parents are still married. And I was like, I guess not. And that's one of the first episodes we had about having a spouse whose parents aren't divorced.
Yeah. Well, and to your point of like things going too well, I try to keep in mind like the universe wants you to succeed most of the time.
That's a nice
if you're putting good things out there, like you almost need to give yourself self-affirmation of like, okay, things are going too well, and I deserve them to go too well. I deserve this. I've worked for this. I'm a good person. I put goodness and light and love out into the world. So, like, if things are going well, it's because I made it that way.
I need, like, a period affirmation. John was like, I'm just going to start writing you letters each month, like, that you open and read when you, like, start PMSing.
If only. Like,
he's, like, giggling. It doesn't upset him. Like, he has never once been like, you got to be joking. Like, he finds it so funny, but he's like, I just feel bad for you. So, like, I'm going to start writing you letters that you open when you start PMSing. The first day I get my period, I wake up and I will literally be like, I don't give a shit if you're mad at me.
Yeah.
So it's just super annoying.
Yeah. With the PMSing, it's good to just warn. Like, you get paranoid. I become the spawn of Satan. We just have to warn.
It's really interesting. Anyways. We have something to tell you guys.
Oh, yeah. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, as I say, I sound like a 97-year-old grandfather.
And not to be too ADD, but after we tell you what we want to tell you, and before we talk about sister-in-laws, I kind of want you to like give me a brief synopsis of that like sausage thing you made the other day.
Oh my God, that is so I thought you were going to like say something adjacent.
You said meat and potatoes, and next week I have to sit on the left because my right chin is looking really fat and fugly.
No, I'm kidding. Not allowed. Okay, so yes, I made beef braciole.
Is it French?
It's Italian.
Okay.
It's a very Italian
dish. I'm trying to understand your pronunciation.
My grandmother used to make it. Mike's grandma used to make it. Mike's mom has made it before. It's Italian for sure. I just haven't had it in years. It's basically so good, you guys. I made this video on TikTok that everybody's screaming at me because I made the Italian music in the background way too loud. So like watch it if you must. But basically
sometimes that happens post editing though. It's like
Yeah, I
It
just
doesn't
was
sound loud when you're editing it.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Music. And it was, I guess I'm deaf. And so it's basically this flat flank steak. You put Parmesan cheese, garlic, salt, Italian seasonings, fresh garlic, fresh cut parsley. You like layer all this stuff, breadcrumbs, gluten-free, of course, for us. You layer all of this stuff on top of this flat steak. You roll it up like a roly-poly. You tie it with cooking twine. You sear it in a pan so that it's brown on the outside. And then you just like simmer it in tomato sauce for an hour.
This sounds delicious.
It is so good. The fresh garlic and parsley and all the stuff inside.
Do you use a family recipe or like an online one?
You know, this is really unfortunate. I used a TikTok recipe or like a collection. Like my favorite thing for TikTok is cooking nowadays. Like you just go, you watch a couple videos, you take parts from all of them.
I do that too.
But like Mike's grandma gave us this cookbook of her church's recipes forever ago. And he always like once a week, he's like, have you tried my grandmother's cookbook yet? And I'm like, fuck no. Because they're like complicated, like real Italian recipes from like old Italian women.
Yeah.
And so no, I haven't. But yeah, so it was a TikTok recipe. But
I only ask because I kind of want to link it in the episode brief because I want to try it too.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I'll remember so that if we all want to try
we'll link my crazy video.
Yeah, I kind of want to because I was like, that's how I'm going to remember to go
You're
back and get it
gonna love
myself.
it. And John, it's the perfect meal to make for a man because it's red meat.
I've been getting back into red meat lately.
I love red meat.
But there's the Whole Foods in Tribeca feels like a suburban Whole Foods. It's like my recent slice of heaven.
You're rich.
I take the train to get there. Like I have to take the train to get to this grocery store.
The Whole Foods in Tribeca is probably like
it's like 15,000 square feet. It's
and there's
really
no
big.
eggs.
No eggs. But I got some inside intel on where the eggs are.
No, some guy I'm referencing. I clearly need to get the fuck off the internet. But some guy, I forget his name. Fuck. Well, if we find it, we'll put it in the link.
Yeah.
It's the funniest fucking video. He's like buying eggs in 2025, and it's basically him like in a car, like acting like Tony Soprano, like the mafia.
No, I literally am in this DM conversation with this girl about like
Finding
literally
eggs.
selling eggs on the street.
Yeah, that's
Like
that's what
rationing
it. Like, what are we in? You know,
I want to make jokes about it, and there's something really deep inside of me that's like, if you make these jokes about the year of 2025 being when we're all as a civilization rationing eggs, like I feel like I'm foreshadowing something that's actually I would like to stay 10 feet away from all of us. So
yeah,
I have refrained so far.
It's only getting crazier. Okay,
it's pretty bad.
Let's tell them about what we need to tell them about.
Okay, so when does this episode come out? Next. Yeah, okay. So
Next week.
On March 12th, we are doing a wine night, which is our first live event.
Yeah. It's going to be like, I don't want to say live show, but I do in some ways.
I agree. But I have to, if we say live show, it's like you have to caveat it with like, what type of live show? Because it's not what you're thinking.
Yeah. It's not like you sit and shut up in a chair and be quiet. Like, truth be told, we don't really know what the fuck we're going to say on stage yet, but we're going to say something for sure. And it's going to be more of an opportunity to meet you guys in person, which I can't, and just hang out
interact.
with you.
I think the one thing is like such a big part of our show, even today, is like, it's a group effort. So it's like, we think it will be cool to do that in person.
Yes.
To do all these like fun things together. Ultimately, it's a part of Everything But the Dress, which is a pop-up that it's like a week-long pop-up that I've been working on with Jenna, who was on the show.
Love.
For like almost 3 years at this point. So it's happening. And this event is the kickoff event, is like the first night event that we're doing that. I know.
Lots of pressure.
I was on the phone with Jenna walking over and I'm like, I feel bad that I'm stressed because we've been asking for this for so long. But sometimes you get deep into something and you realize it was a job for like 12 people and just the two of you are doing it. So it's fine.
I mean, like anything with us, it's going to be scrappy but fun.
No, and it's not. Actually, it's not because
it's not.
It's an open.
Let me just preface, Caroline. Round of fucking applause if you're listening for you, because this Everything But the Dress thing, I know you've been working on it forever. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
It's going to be so fun. I'm like more excited to like shop that. Well, actually, no, let me like not talk down our moment that much. I'm excited to like, I'm going to just move into your venue for the week of that week.
It's, I guess, okay, so it's in, this will give premise. It's in the West Village. And it's really cute. And it's like this really cute space. And it's like white walls and light wood floors and all windows. It's really, I'm just saying, like, well, because it's sometimes stuff is like these things are in more, at least in my experience, like warehouse style or like.
Well, and the girlies should come out because it is a good Instagram photo taking spot.
It is really good. And so anyways, the event is like the pop-up shop is curated of all these really cool bridal brands, like for your wedding wardrobe, everything but the dress that you would never be able to try on in real life. So it's overwhelming because we can't all just like spend $10,000 ordering shit on the internet to see like one dress that works for one event.
True.
And other things that are cool. Like I will say more on that later. But it's like every night there's an event. So it's like community events for girls. And
I love that.
That's where we came up with the Honey, We're Home thing.
We will have like more things than just like us staring at you there.
Yeah,
This is me overcompensating. Like even if it was just us staring at you
really
there,
good.
you would still have a lot of fun. I think it's just going to be so fun to meet you guys in person, to be there, to
Lover War.
Yeah, we're going to play games.
Like Q&As, games.
Might
all of
have
our
a
games.
guest, food and drink.
It's open bar. Waters is sponsoring our bar, so that's really fun. Summer Water is sponsoring all the rosé, so it really is a wine night. Pickle will be there, and they'll be like popping up because they're also part of it, but they're staying for the night and they're popping up and they're bringing in like all their best wedding guest dresses for everyone to try on because it is a shop at the end of the day. It's like we're using it's like a wine night in a cozy shop, which is cute. So you'll be able to try everything on. They're definitely giving discounts.
No, so it's just going to be like a fun communal meeting of the girlies in the city. Grab your friends if you have those. If not, I don't have a lot of them. Night.
By the time this comes out, I'm sure that you can already find the link for the tickets. But
yeah, we'll link it. Just come out. It's something to do on a Wednesday night.
It's something to do on a Wednesday night.
For fun.
And that brings us to our episode.
Really sold it there. I'm going to cut some of that out. Okay, so today we're finally talking about sister-in-laws. This might be a two-parter, honestly, because we have truly never received so many submissions as we did for this topic. I mean, I thought mother-in-law was the big thing that you all had qualms with. It's debatedly like sister-in-laws is more. Quick reference to our own situations with sister-in-laws before we get into it, because we might make references throughout our advice for you guys. We're blessed, honestly, not to rub it in, because a lot of you are not, unfortunately. But like, I have two sister-in-laws, and as we know, there's two different types of sister-in-laws. There's the sister-in-law that is your brother's wife, or, you know, fiance, soon-to-be wife. And then there's the sister-in-law that you marry into, so it's your husband's sister. I was looking through a bunch of our submissions, and I feel like a lot of the qualms are more with husband's sister.
Yeah.
But it did surprise me how much there were situations
because
with
we have a great
email.
And that is not,
But I will say, like, I'm going to use, I've dealt with difficult personalities, so I'm going to use that to help give advice. However, I'm so fortunate to really love both my sister-in-laws and not have a lot of these. Like, this made me really thankful. And we did do a poll before we did these submissions on our Instagram account. And I think it was like 70% of you said you actually do like get along with your sister-in-law. She's great. And then 30% though, which is a big percentage still, were like, nah, I fucking hate my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So
I think if I don't have one because I have all sisters and John has all brothers. So, like, if they ever get married.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, the war of gender will be crazy when we have kids.
That's very rare that you have all sisters, he has all brothers, but you will have sister-in-laws when they
get married, but we're both the oldest. We talked about this on the end of last episode.
But you will never have a brother. You will never have a Navi to me, like what Navi is to me. You'll never have a brother's wife.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But we were chatting about this because I've known, like, John's youngest brother I've known since he was like 9.
Yeah,
so it's
he's
like kind of is like
a younger brother's wife.
That's
Yeah,
sort of
that's
it
true.
is like that, and that's where I feel like it'll be like endearing when that happens. I'll be like really excited, like how you are to Navi. But I guess what I'm saying is that I feel like if John had a sister, I would maybe be in one of these situations because I'm really opinionated. And he comes from an opinionated family as well.
So that's the thing. Like I've talked about Mike's sister before. She's just like amazing in every way. Lauren, she's a mom of 2. She's a year younger than me. She's very mature, like very wise beyond her years. A teacher in North Carolina. She also has her own clothing business for kids. Like she's really just like an inspiring badass in every way. I just have so much respect for her. But it's funny because she is very opinionated. The girl is very, and like, but I guess like entering into Mike's family long ago, I kind of was like, I never wanted to like step on her toes. Like I kind of knew my place coming in as like the one new girl in the fam.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it with these things.
I would have had a hard time with that because John's family is just very traditional and like my mother-in-law, it has a very similar personality to me. So like the way that we communicate is like it took us a minute to like mesh. And then once we meshed, it was like locked. And I just don't know if I would have been given the grace to like figure that out with her if there was like somebody else monitoring like what I said and how I acted and if that meant she approved of me or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just an interesting dynamic, especially when there's only one that you're entering into the family. So if your husband has one sister, because like for us, Lauren and Mike's mom are very close.
Right.
And like they always will be, hopefully. And like, so it's funny because I feel like a lot of these, as I was reading through a lot of these scenarios, I was like, there's like competitiveness with the sister-in-law a lot. And I feel it. But like going into Mike's family, I was always like, I am never going to be like the favorite with Mike's parents over Lauren. Like
I think that's a good way to be.
And yeah, and like I don't want to be, and I don't.
You don't have to be a suck up. Sometimes it's being a suck up that's annoying, but like, yeah, I think about the way that John's brothers will get married, and I know I'm like, I might not be the favorite, and that's fine. I've been around for a long time, so like I'm just comfortable in my place in the family, and I don't think that I'm indispensable. Like I'm integrated into the weave of the family. So like if like there is one girl that's like she goes through a phase of like being the favorite, like whatever. Like I don't feel like threatened in my
That's good because a lot of these girls wouldn't.
But it's a freeing feeling because why? Yeah. Why? I just like don't have the time to spend that much time freaking the F out about something.
About
like,
being the favorite. And it's like how does
it
that even benefit you? Like I get in some.
Do you ever think your sibling's just going to wake up one day and like hate you? It's like, no. So you just act like you want to act.
Yeah. Or like.
Not like with.
But if I were the one, if I were like you or like my sister, Jenna, who is married to Ben, who has 2 younger brothers who are now married, but Jenna was really the first in the picture, like you. Like the 2 other girls who she loves and gets along with so well, they're great. I would almost find it hard. If I were you guys in your shoes, I would almost kind of be like, okay, I have to be the favorite because I've earned it at this point.
No. Do you know how freeing it is to have to like stop having to impress people?
I mean, yeah.
Like the privilege of being married and being around for a long time is that they already know who you are. I do not have to impress you anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Like the new girls coming in.
I just exist. If I want to sleep in or if I literally want to sleep all day and you want to be like, oh, Caroline's awake, haha, great. I'll laugh with you.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
care.
What will you do if like on Thanksgiving you're sleeping till 10:30?
No, I don't care. But if somebody tries to take my tablescape, I will fight
you.
See,
you're saying one thing and you're acting another.
No, I have
there
one
she
thing,
is.
But I've had fights with people about this already. And we, as a family unit, are on the same page. Okay. So it's fine.
But here's my question. I'm Emily. Yeah. And I am John's second youngest brother's new fiance. Mm-hmm. And I come in wearing a really fucking cute outfit.
Great.
And
I mean, thank God. No one wants a fugly family photo.
What's John's mom's name?
Deborah.
Deborah. Deborah loves me.
Yeah.
We've had lunch. We had brunch the day before, you know.
Because maybe they live
just
closer.
the two of us.
You know what I mean?
We do live closer.
That's a likely possibility.
We live closer and we have dinner every Sunday. I cook.
Yeah.
A delicious meal. I come in Thanksgiving morning and I say, I've been having some ideas for the tablescape. I'm going to do it this year.
This is why this doesn't concern me, because I've been in this situation already. And do you know what Deborah says?
Fuck.
Gonna have to chat to Caroline about that. Because she doesn't, we've divided like duties basically. So like she doesn't want to be stressed out by the tablescape.
Okay.
So like she's gonna say, just talk to her.
That's your
because
thing.
then I tell her what she always, I don't have
as
autonomy.
the new sister-in-law coming in should know not to step on toes.
It's not about, right. And I think that there is just a basic respect, which is not a sister-in-law respect. Like when I went into their family, I didn't touch any sort of like helping or family tradition with Thanksgiving for like the first 2 years because they really didn't want me to. And there was nowhere that I could fit in without upsetting somebody else's tradition or like what they wanted to be in control of. So like I had to find a way to like say, oh, like, well, we make sweet potato souffle. Like I always make that. Like you guys like don't make that. Like I could make it this year. And now that's like how I make a dish. But but it's for John's mom and her sister, them cooking together is how they bond in the kitchen. And that's sister time. So I didn't go in and like stomp on their stuff. I found a new way for me to fit in that like made me feel welcome and like I could add value without.
Well, and I think like if you hit the nail on the head with Deborah being like, yes, you want to work on the tablescape, talk to Caroline, because I was thinking about this when it comes to sister-in-laws with a family that has brothers that are both bringing in women to the family.
Yeah.
It's kind of up to the parents to like not play favorites. Like in an ideal situation, I think the sister-in-law relationship is going to be always better when when they're a unit and there's no favoritism among the parents.
I also, maybe I'm in a different situation because like she's known me since I was like 20 years old. So I view her like as truly like a maternal figure. So it's like, I guess in that way she knows what's important to me. So there's how you would with any of your kids. Be like, oh, you guys can work together on it or whatever it is. And she also knows what I don't care about. Like, if you guys bond and are best friends, like, that's fabulous. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a saint. Like, I will have a full temper tantrum about the tablescape. So, like, I'm admitting to that right here and right now.
See, that's the difference between you and I, though. If this fictitious Emily came in and was like, can I do the tablescape? I'd be like, yeah. Go, please
right,
do.
But there's so many other things. I'd be like, be my guest with other things. To me, I'm chilling. Listen, it's a boy of all girls. I was the first girl in the family. So honestly, what are you going to do? Like, literally, we will probably be friends because I actually really, 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 really would love for somebody to hang out with me when they play video games. Like I would love to like suggest a restaurant and them not be like, let's get wings. I would love to need a manicure and not be dropped off by them and then pick
sister-in-laws are the best to get manicures
with. I'm pumped.
That's a good sister-in-law activity.
I'm not worried about the interaction with the parents. I'm pumped to have someone to hang out with me. And if they don't want to hang out with me, then I'll be upset. And then, you know, like whatever, the tablescape.
Yeah, I think that's how the best way to approach like having a sister-in-law is just to be like, this could be a lifelong family member to me and best friend.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then I'm sorry.
I mean, a lot of our submissions are things it's like people are just crazy. And what I will say is that just to make you guys feel better, sometimes brother-in-laws are not any better. Like can hit the jackpot or you can
do an episode on that.
Or you can really lose out there too. So it's like you're like siblings, you know, partners. It does go both ways. So just if that makes people feel better.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go in. We did an audience submission for this. And we just have to tell you guys that I couldn't even tell you how many hundreds. Because this is we've never had.
We got so many.
Okay. So I'm going to start. And we are going to just kick it off, right? And go from there. Okay. Because I couldn't pay $3,000 to go on her bachelorette, I had to pay by planning her wedding for her.
Yeah.
That it's like as if it's an invoice, an outstanding invoice.
There were a lot of like wedding issues. I feel like a lot of sister-in-law issues come up with either person's wedding.
Okay, next one. My sister-in-law invited me to her wedding brunch. Okay, another wedding one of like 8 to 10 people. She gave everyone a heads up that to bring a small heartfelt gift, but deliberately didn't tell her. We had a few of those of like, one was changing the dress, told her to show up in jeans and a flannel, and people were in silk gowns.
It's funny because like with the wedding, it makes sense that that's when the issues would come up because you're almost like, if you have a shitty sister-in-law, you're almost forced to include your husband's sister, even if she sucks.
Yeah.
Just because she's your husband's sister. Like you're forced to invite her to the activities, the events, invite her on the bachelorette trip. So it's like, that makes sense. We've all been there.
Jesus. Okay. A lot of these are wedding, right? Okay. Brought her wedding dress and put it on during my baby shower.
Yeah. That's really funny.
She said, I have photos and can expand. I love someone who's like, let me know if you want more info.
That's some shit I would probably do.
Okay. Told my husband to divorce me because she thought I cropped her out of a pic. In parentheses, I didn't, LOL.
So a lot of these scenarios, like that one, are giving kind of like incestual vibes. It's when the sister is like really close to her brother, like almost too close. Like you could be close with your brother. As somebody with a younger brother who I'm very close with, and I will protect him with my whole entire heart. He's my angel, my everything. I sound like one of those psycho sister-in-laws. But like truly, I would take a bullet for my brother, obviously.
Do we need to interview Navi about this?
Yeah. Honestly, let's get Navi's POV.
I'm going to be like, give me the scoop.
On today's, honestly, she'll be honest too. Like she'll tell me she'll tell you how she feels about me. Like,
yeah, that's
honestly.
really funny.
And it won't all be sunshine and rainbows. But yeah, because coming into me and Jenna, actually, like props to Navi.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
As somebody's sisters, really nice. You're like, yeah.
But we are really nice and welcoming, I will say.
No, I think what I've learned is
we're
you're
loud.
Whores.
Yeah. We're loud and we're like attention. But that's where like Navi kind of knows her place. Like she would never come in and try to like take over my wedding events, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just about knowing your fucking place.
Right. Well, but
if she did, I would let
scenarios, you'd be the one taking over her wedding events.
So you would think you would.
I mean, that's just the dynamic that we're seeing submitted.
You would think, but because I think like you give what you give back or whatever the fuck the saying is.
I so agree with that.
Because Navi was so cool throughout all my wedding stuff. When it came to hers, I've talked about this on this show before. I put all my narcissistic tendencies aside and I said,
whatever you want.
This day is so about you. This whole year, I am at your service, ma'am. And because she was so good on my wedding. Like truly
that's a
better than my bridesmaids.
I don't think people understand that. Like you get what you give. I know as a principal, people understand it. But there's a specific feeling when somebody is extremely helpful to you during your wedding that makes you go above and beyond for them. And it's like, that's when I say this a lot about weddings. I'm like, so when you are considering how to be there for someone during their wedding planning process and you're like, should I go? Should I not go to this and this and this? I'm like, really consider if you can or can't, because the way you show up for them is going to play directly into their ability to show up for you, even if it's like inconvenient.
Yeah.
And so like, that's true. And we've all had those people where we're like, they were so helpful that you're like, I will just do whatever you ask.
Yeah. And she, like, I will cry when I start talking about Navi, honestly. She's been so good throughout, I mean, my go-to person throughout the IVF stuff. Like, I think she's just, like, a really good person.
That's nice.
Like, she doesn't even want anything in return.
That's the other
like,
thing,
I need to be, now that I'm thinking about it, I really need to be checking in more about, because she's in the thick of postpartum right now. Like,
yeah.
Who the fuck, what's wrong with me? No, I'm just kidding. I check in.
Okay. This is great. sent my story to me on accident with a bunch of eye roll emojis.
Oh, that was funny.
Like,
So,
come
like,
on.
That's
Be careful.
yeah, that's a common thing. Who posted that?
I know, but your own sister-in-law is like, bro, just calm down.
Yeah.
OMG, her and I are fine now, but she went ballistic during my wedding planning. She called my venue to see what other dates were available because she didn't approve.
So that one, like on today's episode of things I would never fucking do, like that is stepping on toes 101.
Yeah, I think that's really crazy.
Calling your sister-in-law's wedding venue for like instead of her.
Wow. That's really crazy. Okay. Stole baby name, which was my maiden name. I would go feral. She stole the baby name, which was the girl's family name.
Like Morris, if my name is like Nicole Morris.
Like what is Navi's like
Knockman.
Like if you named the baby Knockman. Like literally, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Name stealing
is already bad, but you can't literally take somebody who's naming their child after themselves and then take that name.
But I wonder if she knew that you were planning on doing that name and what the maiden name is.
It's already really weird, and I just
like
I can't really
like if
say
the
this,
maiden
but
name is like Harrison, that's a common baby boy's name.
No, but it's just then you ask. Like I think that's really normal. Without going into too much, like I have a similar situation where like one of my family members like made a comment about naming their kid John's middle name, but like John wants a fourth, so like it's just weird. Like it's like that's
what's John's middle name?
Albert.
It's not very common.
If it was like
general,
Michael, in general, if you have a family member or in-law who has a name in their name, like you're aware that they have that name, like, bro, ask them. Do you know how many people, like...
Yes. Or give a heads up and suss it out.
Well, this girl, it's not only her name. She was also using it to name her baby.
Right, but I'm wondering if sister-in-law who stole, if the thief knew that she was intentionally going to use that to name her baby.
I'm saying you gotta clear it regardless.
Let's assume she did know. And
yeah, I can't play devil's advocate on it because it's like in real life that situation really is. You're just like, how odd.
Like if
it feels like they're trying to do something and they're like giggling that like if they just do it without talking about it, like ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah,
I don't like that one.
But I also don't like I don't love a name steal police because there are only so many names that people name their children. And like, I don't know. I just don't think we can be like, she named her child Sydney and I wanted to do that.
Well,
like,
yeah, but it's her family member's name.
Yeah, I know.
It's the girl's
I know,
maiden
but
name.
in general, I'm just saying I don't always love a name
Yeah, but girls get married and they change their names and all they have left is sometimes like their maiden name is no longer their legal name.
Yeah.
You like can't just steal the one tie that they like name tie that they still have to their entire side of the family.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
also doing that annoying thing. No, I am. I'm just doing that annoying thing where like I'm like need more context because with different context it could not be as bad, but let's assume it's just bad. And
I just can't see it either way. Okay, this one's pretty crazy. Asked me to lose weight for her wedding. I mean, like
that's insane. There were some other ones that were like she didn't like my hair on the wedding day or didn't.
Yeah,
and that just goes back to like who gives a fuck what anybody else looks like on your wedding day because you should only care about what you look like.
I'm gonna cry. My ex-sister-in-law hated me when I was younger and cut my prom dress in half a week before my prom. That is diabolical. That's like Ramona and Beezus energy. We call in my family if somebody's really annoying, they say okay Beezus. But that's like crazy.
What's Ramona and Beezus?
Oh, you don't know. It's like the two little sisters that are like hooligans and they're crazy and super ADD and super annoying and like always wrecking something. Ramona and Beezus. Like that, they are
Oh,
Ramona
that's
and
like
Beezus.
the title of
That's
this.
like the book.
Oh.
Ramona and the movies.
Oh.
Ramona and Beezus.
I was like, what characters? Like, what movie is this from? But it's
Ramona and Beezus. Okay. Do you have some that you want to go to?
Yeah, there's like some that are just 8,000 parters.
I know it's.
But told me how much my husband liked the other girl he was seeing when we met and wanted to choose her over me to date. No, that's just rude. Setting up for
She said her husband
success. Yeah, like the husband was like, he really liked.
I bet she also told the other girl that he liked this girl over her. I bet she was trying to do a whole clean sweep.
She's just, well, okay. And also for anybody like that, like anybody who does something like that is insecure. And any of these sucky sister-in-laws, you got to look at their own relationship situation.
Yeah.
And I can confidently tell you 99% of the time, they are not in a good relationship themselves.
Yeah.
And so their relationship insecurity is being pummeled onto you because you and your husband might be actually great. And so they're just like projecting onto you because they, you know, like it's like
I agree.
Their husband doesn't treat them well. So when your husband does, they're the ones who are like, well, yeah, you know, he used to like the other girl way better. Like, it's just.
I think that's true. I have to read this out loud because it's. When I told her I went to a public school, she said, I've never met a poor person before.
That's very.
What a crazy thing to say.
It's just like funny.
And just to assume somebody's.
Well, I've never met a poor person before. Honestly, I want that energy. I want that to be.
Most people I know went to public school, including myself.
I know.
Forever.
Same.
Always.
But like, it's just like funny. It's like Blair Waldorf.
That's so interesting. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
This one says, spread a rumor to the extended family that I was doing IVF since I wasn't pregnant yet.
Yeah, that's pretty wicked.
There's a lot.
Maybe she was speculating and it went out of hand.
Yeah. There's a lot about like spreading rumors to the whole family about the person.
This girl makes me feel like I can relate to it because she said she has none yet, but 2 brothers and 2 brother-in-laws. So she needs the tips on how to be a nice sister-in-law. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has anxiety on that.
Yeah. Well, I guess tips to be a good sister-in-law. My biggest one, like, know your place. Try not to step on toes. But also just like be a nice person and be a cool, normal person. And like, don't try to be the favorite because don't be competitive. Don't be like, that's where you'll start running into issues. Look at your sister-in-law as more of a confidant and partner versus like somebody you've got to beat to be in-laws' favorites.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you're going to go at it better.
To my point, I just don't think it's sustainable to always want to like put in an enormous amount of effort to be liked by your in-laws. Like if you're a good person and you love them, eventually like they will just know you for who you are, and you should just be able to be yourself without always competing with somebody for.
Yeah.
If they have multiple children, like they're very capable of loving more than one person at a time.
Yeah. And it's just a perspective thing. Like go into having a sister-in-law, like we said in the beginning, like this could be a really great relationship, a friendship.
Yeah.
And this could be somebody, like I did a skit once and it was like that cool sister-in-law on Thanksgiving that's your lifeline on Thanksgiving. Like
that's what like I would love that.
Yeah. If you have a lifeline, it literally went viral because people were like, oh my God, I have this, sharing it with their sister-in-laws who are their lifelines.
Yeah.
Like that's the person who
that's why I had my sister with me at Thanksgiving this year. It's like you want that. I guess like Deborah has her sister. Like people want.
That's the person who you literally grab to like go run an errand with, and you instead go get your nails done. Like you kind of like bully your husband and his brother together because they're annoying and they're boys.
Some of us are in situations where like the boys still aren't like asked to do that much. So it's like I'd love to have somebody to help me do the things that I'm like, why am I the one doing all like just stuff like that. Like everybody wants the in-law like that. I mean, I also think now that we're sitting here talking about it, the problem is it like the previously standing person, like the person already in the picture, whether it's a previous sister-in-law, so like for my brother-in-laws, they already have one sister-in-law, or like you're somebody's sister, it's up to you to make the first move with the new entry.
Oh, like welcoming them into
Yeah,
the
like
family?
literally as we're thinking about this, it's like the first thing that your first action towards a new sister-in-law is what sets the tone. So make it a good one.
Yeah.
Unless I'm not saying that some of these girls are like not just evil. Like some of them are literally crazy and it sounds like all these girls tried. But for us trying to be good sister-in-laws, it's like, yeah, we have to make the first move.
Yeah. Well, and like, yeah, just be welcoming. Know that like if for instance, if Mike had like one or two or any brothers and I was the first one in the situation, like how you are, I would know that like it is intimidating to come into a new family and come to those holidays and kind of be like grilled about you and your personal life and whatnot. So like, I don't know, to be a good sister-in-law who's already in that situation and who's already gotten to know these people, aka your in-laws, like just throw her a bone, help her out. Like, I don't know, just, yeah.
I agree.
Just be welcoming and normal. Like you would with a friendship. Like, again, treat it as a friendship.
I think it makes the most sense.
And also don't overthink it. We're like, and now say this when she walks in the door. Like, no, just be normal.
This girl said she didn't come to my son's bris because she was not the godmother. Like, imagine just protesting the bris or the baptism, like, because you didn't get chosen as the godmother.
Yeah, nothing gives you odd. Entitled to, like,
why?
Nothing.
And I just mean this with true sincerity. You would choose Jenna over Mike's sister for a godmother because Jenna's your sister.
Yeah.
Like, why do you as the in-law think that you're the natural choice?
Well, nobody's entitled to the godmother role, and I definitely, or the godfather role, and I mean, that's even a sibling.
That's the childbearing, like, equivalent of, like, the person that's pissed that they weren't your, like, maid of honor or whatever, so they, like, boycott the wedding.
Nobody's entitled to any role. They have to earn it.
It's so crazy. I'm so sorry, but she walked down the aisle during the processional when she was not part of the wedding party.
Oh, yeah.
How do you sneak in? Imagine just sneaking in.
It's my wedding. A lot of it. Well, so somebody who would do that, for instance, again, like that's a sister-in-law who maybe didn't feel like she was honored enough on her wedding, like didn't get her big shining moment. Like it's all going to come out of insecurity. So just look at it that way and feel sorry for them. This one says, wore full white to our rehearsal, then created drama about my reaction, which was just an expression of shock at our nephew's bad behavior. Legit cornered me at my rehearsal dinner. These are like 1,000 parts. But that's crazy she wore white. Yeah, the wedding really
brings it out, it seems. I think that this is really when my dad passed, asked my grieving mom for his watches. Unfortunately, there are so many greedy people that don't understand this. Like, I've had this experience with my grandmother, and it's like I lost it, but it's like even her own children were like that, and like it's just insane the way that people prioritize items.
So I like to think I'm easygoing and whatnot, and not a lot pisses me off. That would
I don't
light me on fire, and I would thus light her on fire. Because this is similar-ish things have happened. Like when Mike's grandma passed away, for example, did she have some nice jewelry? Did his grandpa have some stuff that sure. Would I ever have asked for any of that? Hell no.
It's already despicable to act that way as a child or sibling or relative. So literally, what the hell?
Yeah. The only case that would be okay in my eyes is if somebody, like in this instance, the dad, or for example, like if a grandparent had like a cool, unique fucking coffee table book, for instance, that you just like always loved looking at when you went over to grandparents or in-laws' house. And and it was just a fun little inside joke you had with them. I don't know. Just like a unique possession.
Yeah.
Then it might be okay to be like, hey, wait until people have
first
had
wait.
time to process and grieve.
First wait, because the day of the funeral is
God, no.
never
Yeah, we're
the
never.
time.
Is that when she asked? Is that
She
when?
said her grief. I'm just going to assume because I've seen this happen.
Oh, well,
It's just like the anxiety of like if you're going to get it and then you just ask and it's like honestly like it's
I would wait until like conversations about going through the possessions even start.
Right.
And then you can be like, say to your husband, don't say to the family. I would be like, hey, I really loved that coffee table book your grandma had. Like, do you think we can get that? But I would never go straight to the source and say, give me the watches. Would the watches be nice to have? Of course.
But they're also high value. It's like when my great grandmother passed away, I used to spend like a lot of time with her because she lived in the same town that my dad did. My parents lived 8 hours apart. So like my mom would leave me basically with her. And when she passed away, I recall she lived for a very long time. And I still to this day, it's on my coffee table. The only thing I have from her is a lipstick case.
No.
Like I literally was like, Mom, can I have this lipstick case? She's like, I mean, with the lipstick still in it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Like, I just was obsessed with it. And I was like, why? It was YSL.
Yeah.
And she would let me put it on.
It's a sentimental little item.
I have like a weird reaction to lipstick. Like it dries your lips out. And that one never did. And I never forgot it. And now all of my lipsticks are like this specific YSL. But like, nobody else wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants her used lipstick and this lipstick case. Like, so if it's something like that that you know that they're going to legitimately throw out, go ahead.
Yeah. I always do get mad at Chris and Navi though. Not mad, like jokingly, because I've said this before. When my mom died, they got like, and my mom did not have like a lot of nice possessions. But they were living in a house in LA at the time. I was in my 2 square foot apartment in Hoboken. Jenna was in a townhouse. And like, long story short, this is so middle child of me. I got so shafted with like the possessions because I was young. It was almost stressing me out more to be like, yes, give me all my mom's china up here in Hoboken than to actually like take it. Looking back, do I wish I had taken more? Like we ended up getting rid of so much stuff that I wish I didn't. Like it was just a lot for us 3 kids without another like kids. We were in our 20s, but still like us 3 of my mom's kids without another like father figure present in that because my parents were divorced, whatever. So like I always yell at Chris and Navi though because I'm like, you fuckers took her cute, nice china and you have it displayed nicely in your cute, nice house.
Yeah.
And like, I love them to death and they deserve the china.
Maybe you guys can share it down the line.
Yeah. I almost like, this is me being too nice.
At least
I'm like, I would never.
Like, at least it's still there. My thing is when somebody takes reign and goes through everything and then they single-handedly decide what to get rid of. And I have a problem with that because I'm like, again, to our original points, you don't know what's important to each person that they had a relationship with. So like if you feel like you need to get someone out of their house or whatever it is, like move things into storage until people have an opportunity to look at it or whatever it is and have those conversations versus just selling it or getting rid of it, because then you're actually putting things that really mean something to some people, even if they don't mean anything to you. Yeah. You're losing them forever. There's that girl that does, she traces heirlooms back to the original. Like she thrifts these heirlooms and she thrifts them and finds the original owner and gives them to their like descendants. And it's really cool. Like I have beef because my grandmother had all of this insane vintage and custom like everything. And without being an asshole, but like it wasn't, nobody else would have worn it. It was just me. I was the only person into fashion. I was her height. Like we had the same size. It fit me like a glove. She moved it all into a closet for me, like so that I could have it. And like I would, as I grew up, take pieces and take them back home.
Who got it?
Nobody. I have a relative.
Your grandma?
Yeah, I have a relative that
got rid of it all?
She went in there one day and she said, these clothes don't fit me. I have no use for them. And she had the Salvation Army come and pick up every last thing and drive it away.
That's so annoying.
And my grandmother's entire life was clothes.
It's all about knowing your place. And that's fucked up of her to do. Like, she should have offered it to you all first.
It. They were going feral over her things before she even passed away. And that's gives me...
That'll happen.
It's fine. I let them all have it.
When my grandma on my dad's side passed away, my dad has 3 sisters, so my 3 aunts, like, my grandma had like bags and stuff. I would have never, and we have so many cousins, like, I would have, down the chain of command, like, I would have never gotten a designer bag from that because there's just too many like layers in place. And I know my place. I would never like go to my aunts, aka my grandma's daughters, and be like, that bag is mine, you know? Like, but like in your case, if they were going to get rid of them, I'd be like, yeah, the offer.
No, she got rid of all of it. And like, that's the problem though, is all of her children are feral about that stuff. So it's like, I just watched her slowly start to have people come over and take what she wanted them to have because she was so scared that her children would hide her things or sell them so that nobody else could have them. And then she just lived in like this empty house, like where none of her stuff was left because she was getting bulldozed by people. And I'm sorry if this is like rude to anyone listening, but like that is just what happened. And it was really upsetting to see. And it sheds a great light on people's priorities.
Yeah.
It was really disappointing.
There's a theme here. Death in the family brings up a lot of issues. We could do a whole episode on how family deaths, whether it's grandparents, a parent, an in-law, anybody, brings up so many fights. Like, death in the families will break apart a family, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But also wedding. It's so crazy.
All these big life events.
Babies, too. There's so much weird. This is what I hate. There's so much competitiveness over, like, who's going to have the kid first, and the sisters and the sister-in-law, the names stealing, the this, the that. Like, why can't we all just, chill and let people live their lives a little?
I agree.
But I think this is going to have to be a 2-part episode because
I agree.
I really think we've just barely scratched the sister-in-law surface.
I want to say one that's wild so we can end with a laugh. Okay. And then I want to say one that honestly is just something that we all need to consider.
Say them because time's a ticking.
This girl said that her sister-in-law got super drunk on family vacation and suggested they swap brothers for the night.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's crazy.
Literally, I hope that she was so drunk that she doesn't remember saying that.
It's giving like White Lotus, Daphne, Cam, Harper, season 2, that whole Ethan dynamic.
Also, there's one in here that's like, she didn't come to my bachelorette because her boyfriend at the time's sister was getting married. Meanwhile, like, he later cheated on her and now she has 3 new boyfriends since. And I just want to say, like, okay, sometimes like we're being assholes. Like, honestly, like, if she goes to her boyfriend's, she doesn't know that guy is going to cheat on her and then break up with her later. Like, it makes sense to go to your boyfriend's, to go with your boyfriend.
You rattled that off so quickly.
I'm sorry, my brain's been going really fast.
And I really don't understand what the fuck you just said.
This girl said that her sister-in-law didn't go on her bachelorette party because the girl's boyfriend's sister was getting married that weekend. So she chose to go with her boyfriend to his sister's wedding over going to her brother's fiance's bachelorette.
Okay, hold off for a sec, because some might argue, don't hate me, that a wedding is a little more important than a bachelorette.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that sometimes we need to evaluate what we're getting upset at.
Okay.
Like, to be honest, like, I think that's normal.
Okay. I thought you were like agreeing.
Yeah, I don't think that that's like war. I think
I think that's a neat
perspective.
Context one too, because we've talked ad nauseum about the toughness around the decision to attend a bachelorette, but
it sounds like this is your brother's sister. So again, that is a scenario. It's like, okay, we need to not be as hard on some people. That's a really high bar that you put for her that you probably wouldn't have put for your friends.
Yeah. Well, and I think the listeners' thought process there is like, this is just her fucking boyfriend's sister's wedding. Like, why is that taking priority over my bachelorette?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
her
I don't know.
fiance's sister. Yeah. Or maybe her fiance's sister.
No, it's the boyfriend's. The sister-in-law that's not attending listeners' bachelorette.
Yeah. But the relation to the two girls is that the girl who wrote in is like, it was her bachelorette, which means it's her fiance's sister.
Frankly, this one's giving me a migraine.
I'm just confused. My point is like, we have some high expectations of people.
Yeah, like again, back to my point at the end of the day, like, let's not overthink it and be like crazy when it comes. Are you kidding me?
What's going on?
There's like wrapping.
You have the paper still on your jacket?
And that's
your buttons are still covered.
How many buttons are on this fucking jacket?
That's really funny.
I uncovered so many of them earlier.
Okay, on that note, we will see you guys next week. To be continued.
Yes.
Bye.